Hello, hi, hey, howdy. Welcome back to Cover to Cover. You want something covered? I got you covered. Now, last we left off, we're covering the Korvac saga. We were part way through it around where Ultron had just been defeated by the Avengers, more so. Yep, I can say that. The Avengers, more or less, with the aid of Jocasta, his metal wife. What would be a good word? Animatronic? No. Robotic? Robotic? Metalloid? His wife. Right, his wife. Nonetheless, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit like, subscribe, all that. Susan with Wiki checklist. Do all that. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into this with my boy. Look at him on the cover. Looking fresh as fuck. You don't get better than this guy. We show back up, or we start off rather. We start off with Clint showing back up. Holy moly. We start off with Clint showing back up to the Avengers Mansion. And he's finding that no one's there. Now, what this idiot does, is still my boy, but what this guy does is he leaves the door open. And if you guys have been following along, you would know about this guy here. Good old Gyrick. Yeah, he's back. And you see him kind of pissed off right here. He's like, you know what? I'm sick of these motherfuckers. I'm about to take all their funding, all they this bullshit, this, that, and the other. I'm like, good. Good. They don't need you. Fuck superheroes. Live off the land. Like Superman. Anyway, so we cut to where we last left off. You see Steel Toes there in the lower corner, all banged up and dinked up and whatnot. The Avengers put that work on him. And everybody's still trying to figure out where Jocasta went. That's where the last issue left off, is that she just kind of disappeared out of nowhere. We cut to one of the other sisters, Sister Jude, and she's basically saying, "Oh, I appreciate everything you guys have done, but y'all got to get the fuck out of here. Y'all got to get the fuck out." They say they'll clean up. The sisters will clean up. They'll clean up the church. The Avengers take off back to the mansion. I keep getting it mixed up with the tower because they got like multiple like locations. They got the mansion, the tower. And then not the Avengers, but the Fantastic Four have their place. I'm forgetting the name of it off the top of my head. I can't remember if it was the Stanley Building or something like that. Fuck. Anyway, the Avengers show back up. They see Hawkeye basically, making bacon pancakes, and everybody's like, everything's all hunky dory and stuff. Like, whose leg is that? Is that Carol's leg? It's like the most random spot to have a leg. It's like it's just there's like a tuft of hair over Wanda's hand, and then just a leg, like right here. Like, okay, so Hawkeye, I was about to say Nightwing. Nightwing. Let's Hawkeye lets everybody know about the intruder, and he says, "Yeah, I was gonna handle it. Like, basically take him to the authorities, I guess, or whatever, right after I finish making my food." So the Avengers race off, and you see right here Beast kind of getting competitive again with Vision, knowing full and damn well Vision will always take the wall. He's like, "Gangway, Vish. Darn, that cheater's going through the walls on me again. Guess that means I'll get there second as usual." And it's funny. It's one of those few traits that I do like about Beast is, aside from him being like super intelligent, is like he's also got a competitive side, and he'll always compete with being like the first one there with Vision, knowing full and damn well he'll never beat him. Although, they might do it in future issues. I haven't read the entirety of the Avengers run starting from like the beginning, or even going to like Tales of Suspense. That's going far back, but that's something else we can cover in a later episode. For right now, we cut to Gyrick getting apprehended by Hawkeye. You see that arrow? That means my boy is good at what he does. I'm telling y'all, look, man, Hawkeye's the way to go. Hawkeye is the way to go. Y'all fucking up. Y'all think Cap or Iron Man or, heavens forbid, Carol Danvers is the best Avenger. No, it's Hawkeye. It's Hawkeye. Absolutely, it's Hawkeye. Like, no competition. Fucking fight me on it. So what ends up happening is Gyrick gets pulled out of the restraints or whatever. And then he just goes completely off on everybody. He's just like, nah, I'm sick of y'all and y'all bullshit. I'm making some calls and we are done. Here's your fucking papers, right? So he takes off. Everybody's like, basically everything just gets cut. Like all communications get cut. Everything that functions in this in the mansion is just turned off, basically. And they're now trying to figure out like what their next plan is, because they've been so deeply integrated with working with, the government, that once everything got cut off, they're just like, well, how do we know what's going on in the world? How can we go save people, essentially, right? Crystal comes through. Crystal sends a message. It's just like, hey, my lover's gone. And then Wanda turns around and says, hey, Crystal's lover is gone. We all know who Crystal's lover is. But what ends up happening is Jarvis comes back from going out on a jog, and he's basically passing word on to Tony saying, hey, Tyrak is attacking the harbor. Now, Tyrak, I don't know much about Tyrak. I'm not gonna lie. He might be a long-standing like villain of the Avengers, but he has popped up before. This isn't their first run-in with Tyrak. As a matter of fact, he's returning specifically because he got humiliated prior to this issue. So what ends up happening is Tony starts setting plans, telling everybody, giving everybody the rundown. Like, all right, so you guys are gonna do this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. So everything, falls into play, and they set out. So everyone shows up to the scene, right? And they find Tyrak thrashing a ship, a whole freight ship by himself. And Tyrak isn't exactly small. You can see in comparison, him being right here, rather. You can see Tyrak right here, and you see him in comparison to everybody else who's just kind of like on other ships or in the water there on a lifesaver or whatever. So everyone shows up. I like this page. It's really animated, right? You get invested in the story. Like you're looking at it and you're just like, yo, something's about to happen, right? So Carol just, drops Clint off, just drops him here. He doesn't like how he just got dropped off, and she's like, whatever, right? Simon, looking like Bruno Mars, Simon drops Wanda off. Well, not drops her off, but lets her down. And you see Simon acknowledges that Carol's just kind of like angry all the fucking time. He's just like, maybe not, but I like, Wanda says, hurry, Wonder Man. Miss Marvel can't take Tyrak alone. And then Simon goes, maybe not. But I think she'd like to try. I've never seen anybody so aggressive. And she doesn't just strike a pose and point like Wanda or the Wasp. She hauls off and belts people like a man would, right? And what are you trying to be a dude for? Why are you acting like a dude? Why are you just pulling up and I get it, you have the strength to do so, but that doesn't mean you just completely forego being a woman to be a man. Silly bitch. So anyway, she ends up getting slapped up, right? Well, she pulls up on Tyrak and she gets a good hit in, and then he just kind of pops her one good time. Stupid female. He pops her one good time and throws her clean across, I guess, the harbor or into the pier here, and she's just kind of out. So Hawkeye, being the badass, the voice crack, being the badass that he is, right? Hawkeye's just like, all right, it's my time to shine. And he drops one of those arrows, and it does the supersonic bit where it's just like flying around Tyrak and kind of like throwing him off his balance. He catches the arrow, breaks it, and what ends up happening is Vision pops up. He kind of like phases through the ship, which I thought this part was pretty cool. Where he shows up and he increases his mass and just starts sinking the ship, essentially. That part was pretty damn cool. And he pulls up, pops Tyrak one good time, and he's just like, yeah, you ain't finna do shit. Until Tyrak is just like, oh, you stupid. You stupid as hell. You think I am about to just haul off on your ass. Pop, right? Hits the man. He sends him flying. Keep in mind, Vision's already massive, right? He's already massive. He's heavy as shit. Pulls up, punches him in the face. Tyrak steals him once and says, all right, I'm going to just send you to that other boat that's, bothering me. Boom. Throws him into that ship. That shit starts sinking. You see Hawkeye right here just kind of like getting thrown off the boat. But Tyrak hits the water and Simon goes to pick Vision up out of the water, but you see him say here that his belt jets are starting to fail. His belt jet's starting to fail, and Vision's just that fucking heavy. It's kind of crazy the way that like they handle all this stuff. So from the other ship, Wanda and one of the crewmates, I guess, throws a lifesaver to Hawkeye so he can get the fuck out the water. And Tyrak shows up on the basically on the mainland, I guess you can call it. Starts throwing trucks and shit at buildings. Why the fuck not, right? So Carol gets back up and she's like, yeah, nah, I ain't done yet. She pulls up, kind of like catches him with the pole, and then Wanda and Simon pull up and they're just like, all right, it's time to handle this fool, right? So Simon pulls up, he's like, hey, relax. Right? He's just like, hey, you see him say right here, get the safety, Miss Sam, I'll take him. And she's like, I can outmaneuver him, essentially. Holy moly, I gotta keep clearing my throat. I'm not even sick. But she's like, I can outmaneuver him. So essentially what happens is Tyrak gets the upper hand and just kind of like accosts both of them at the same time. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna put you in a tombstone chokehold. Tombstone? Wrong move. I'm gonna put you in a chokehold. And I'm gonna put you in a chokehold. And then Wanda pulls up and is like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to drop both of them, right? So she catches him, throws him off. He buckles in one of the most hilarious ways. I'm making an emo out of this, by the way, guys. I'm making an emo out of this. Look at him. The man looked like his ankles just folded on him. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. First time I saw it, I couldn't stop laughing. But, I'm going to make an emo out of that eventually. So what ends up happening is Tyrak goes after Wanda, to which he is stopped by none other than Vision. Because he's like, yeah, you ain't about to lay a single hand on my wife. That's my wife, right? So he's hitting him with these thermo-optic beams. You're basically, essentially drying him out. And Tyrak is like a sea-based individual. So he can survive. He's kind of like Arthur Curry in that sense. Or Aquaman, for those that don't know Arthur's or Aquaman's actual name. He's kind of like Arthur Curry in that sense, where like he can essentially like he can thrive on land, or he can survive on land for a short amount of time, right? So he's essentially drying him out, turning him into a fish stick. So he doesn't make it back to the water, which sucks. Oh well, right? So they win the day, and they try to contact Jarvis or someone essentially at the Avengers mansion to send one of their specialized vehicles to properly apprehend Tyrak. Look at this guy; he's fucking massive. But none of the calls get through, obviously, because government funding got pulled and all that stuff. So what ends up happening is they have to make a split decision because they don't want this guy to die, and this is what makes these comics so great. Is like they sit there and they think about it. It's like, we want to beat him, like we want to defeat this guy, but we don't want to kill him. That's great. That's great storytelling. It's like, these are true heroes. They're not trying to kill. They're trying to defeat. And defeat doesn't always necessarily mean kill. So that right there sold me immediately. I'm just like, I immediately like what's going on. So I'm just like, all right, so what's the game plan? What are they going to do? And just like, all right, look, we got to do what we got to do. So Wonder Man picks him up, yeets his ass back into the ocean. The sea or wherever they may be. Nonetheless, he throws him back in. He's just like, yep, nope, he gets away this time. And it's great. It's great storytelling. It's not, oh, well, I'm breaking out of jail one more time kind of thing, or I'll get my revenge the next time. It's like, he got beat twice, and it's just like we gotta send him on his way, otherwise he dies, and we're essentially criminals. And I'm just like, that's great, dude. I love that. That's fantastic storytelling. So I'm sold. And then everybody's going back to what they were doing prior. Carol says she's taking off, and Simon's like, hey, you coming along with us? And she's like, nah, I got my own thing to do. But, no, let me get them digits. No, you can compare strength sometime. See who can lift who, right? Anyway, she takes off. And that's where Vision disappeared. So, like, mid-conversation, Vision just kind of pops out of nowhere. Not pops up, or pops out. Just kind of like blips out, essentially. So he's gone, and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on, and you see T'Challa. Now, don't get too excited. T'Challa's role in the Korvac saga isn't... His role is just as important as Carol's. Well, I'm not going back to that panel. But his role is just as important as Carol's, in that he wasn't really necessary. He was just one of the more prominent characters at the time. So it's like, hey, let's throw him in, kind of thing. I think he actually was like an honorary member of the Avengers at that point. Like, I don't know if he was like official Avengers or if he was like one of the fill-ins at that point. I have to go do some research on that. Anyway, he gets a phone call from Janet about what's going on, and then he's like, yeah, no, I'm on my way, kind of thing. So you see Tony here doing his trying to figure out like how he can essentially get word out, I guess, or find information, I guess you would say. Find information on why Avengers and other heroes are just disappearing out of nowhere, like where Pietro went, where Jocasta went, and where all these other characters are just kind of disappearing out of nowhere. So he gets a buzz, right, from his door, and he's like, oh, let me throw my helmet back on. They can't know my identity, right? So they pull up, and they're just like, all right, so we got in touch with a couple other people, and they should be on their way. So that's essentially where we cut to whoever it is that's actually just like snatching these heroes up. You see in the back here, you see Cap, you see Pietro, and this shit threw me for a fucking loop. And now I'm just like, I gotta read everything, right? Because you pop to the next image, you see Moondragon, you see Two Gun, you see Vision, you see Jocasta. And I'm just like, bro, Moondragon, where the fuck did Moondragon come from in all of this? And I'm just like, okay, I need to know. I gotta fucking know. So I'm gonna be doing some like off-screen reading for this because I'm thoroughly invested on what her role is, or how she came into play with all of this. But we cut to essentially another Mr. Claw. This is like Mr. Claw number 4 or something like that. Nonetheless, Threshold of Oblivion is the next issue. So the next issue picks up with not so much, well, the introduction to the Korvac saga of Black Widow and Hercules. And you see them here kind of like getting accosted along with Yellow Jacket. You see Hawkeye, Wasp, and Iron Man in the back. And where it picks up is you have Iron Man, OG Marvel, Walter Lawson, Captain Marvel. You have Wizard, who I believe is a speedster as well. I think he's more to... I don't know if he's faster than Quicksilver or not, but I'd have to actually like look into his past. But you have Wizard, you have Black Panther. We cut to the airport where we run into Nat and Herc, and Herc is getting hit on by the ladies, and Nat don't like that. Just like, you my man, so let's fucking go. You know, you got a short lease, and I'm not afraid to yank on it. And he's just like, woman, don't tell me what to do, right? So they're just kind of like, now he's just kind of angry, breaking walls and shit. That's not exactly why he's doing it, but he's essentially like showing off, I guess you can say, as you know, Hercules would do. they got the call about the Avengers kind of like disappearing out of nowhere. So they're on their way. This is their specialized transportation. But the guy's like, hey, look, I'm on the government bill, and the government bill says you got to pay like the rest of them. Or rather, no, he says right here that they don't get to fly on government pay anymore. And then Herc flips out and just throws the helicopter. My man's. My man's. Wait a minute. You can, bruh, you threw the fucking helicopter. Why? Now nobody flies. And he's like, well, guess we're going to find another way. Why didn't you just take the helicopter nonetheless? You're the fucking heroes. You could have grounded that man. He's like, hey, look, I understand this government business, but we got a life to save. So you either stay here and we fly, or you get up there and we all fly. One of the two. Either way, we going, right? It would have been way more acceptable than just fucking throwing a goddamn bird, Herc. Come on, man. Get it together. What are you doing? So, they show up to the scene. And you see everybody still at the table. And they're just like, all right, well, we got the word. What's going on? Tony fills them in. Is like, yeah, everybody's just been kind of getting snatched up out of nowhere. Vision's gone. Not Hawkeye, but Vision's gone. Cap's gone. Quicksilver's gone. And Charles like, all right, do you have any ideas of what's going on? And Tony's like, I have no idea. Like, shit's just happening. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to get any level of information of what is what, right? So they try to, Tony tries to reach out to somebody, right? The 5-star general, which I'm forgetting the name of the rank off the top of my head. He's like, hey, get the fuck off my line. And he hangs up on him. So Tony reaches out to Nick Fury, and Fury's just like, hey, man, look, we on a government bill, so get the fuck off my line, right? So everybody just hangs up on Tony, and we cut to that nice little house where we found Michael, who's just now spying on the Avengers, and he's just like, yeah, the plan's coming into play. Everything's going well. And you see his lady, Karina, whose waist gets thinner and thinner with every pan. Yo, he is starving this woman. He is starving. Hey, feed her. Feed your woman. SJW's gonna get you, man. But he's like, yep, nope. And she's like, hey, I made you some she's like, I made you some hot cocoa. And he's like, why? Bam. I don't need you to do shit for me except exist at my side. She's like, yes, I'll do so. So, he's trying to figure out what his next step would be, right? So what he does is he spies a little bit on what's the kid's name? Vance. There we go. Vance Astra. So he sees Charlie. There we go. So many damn names. He sees Charlie just watching Vance play. You see Nikki watching Vance play. You see Starhawk, whose cosmic awareness is still alive, but has been completely nullified to Michael's whereabouts, essentially. So Korvac but Starhawk doesn't know what's going on. And you cut to Vance, who's just up on the Nuva ring. That's what I called it before, right? Yeah, the Nuva ring. You cut to Vance, who's just up there by himself, is like, yep, any day now. So he goes, Michael then goes, okay, well, I need to figure out if anybody's aware to my presence at all. I need to be completely unseen. So what he does is he then taps into, I guess you could say, the cosmic security system. And he's like, he tells Karina, he's like, hey, yeah, no, peace the fuck out. I got shit to do. So she takes off. He does some deep thinking. And, she goes, she runs, she cries, does her thing, right? What she does, because here's the thing that I thought was really interesting. What you find out about Karina is that she originally was not supposed to fall for him. She was supposed to coax him, but she was supposed to be more of a spy, right? So what she does is she as a metahuman being, I guess you could say, she taps into her cosmic abilities and reaches out to someone, right? You don't know who, but she reaches out and she tries to essentially, rat him out, kind of like give away his 20, his location for the people that don't know what a 20 is. Anyway, she tries and she's just like, I can't do it to him. And then what ends up happening is she's starting to fall for him, essentially. She's like, I want to, I know what my mission is. I have to, take him down, but I can't. This is the guy I'm falling for. This is my man. Right? So what Mikey, I'm gonna call him Mikey. What Mikey does is he taps into essentially the cosmic security system, where you see one of the Watcher, essentially. The Watcher, the being who archives everything that goes on in the universe. He just doesn't interfere, but archives everything that goes on in the universe as it's supposed to unfold, right? And he's like, all right, well, I'm not seen by the Watcher. And he goes even farther, right? Goes over to Odin, who doesn't notice him. Goes over to Zeus, who doesn't notice him. Goes over to Mephisto, who doesn't notice him. Then he goes to Eternity. And I'm just sitting here like, bruh, this man is going all over the place. But the thing with Eternity is that, like, Eternity sees everything and anything at the same time. But, like, you see Mike say right here, he's so confident. He's so confident, so serene in his omnipotence. He would pay little heed to a mote such as I, even had I not shielded myself from his sight. But one day soon, I will take what is rightfully mine. And then, what? Right? So that's essentially when he got the notification of somebody like trying to rat his ass out. But essentially what's going on here is that, like, what he's saying is that Eternity sees all, but doesn't pay attention to all. And I was like, okay, that's slightly shaky, a slightly shaky story, or I guess plot point to go off of, but it works. It makes sense. You see everything and nothing really matters, kind of thing. If everything, I don't know. It's weird to explain. If you do understand, just leave a like. I'm not grinning. I'm not grinning at all at that whack ass line. Anyway, what ends up happening is Mike he gets a sense coming from his house, right? So he slams the door, or he slams the door open, I guess you could say, snatches his woman up and is like, "Woman, what are you doing?" And he's like, she's like, "Nothing. Like, I'm not doing anything," right? And he's just like, I'm gonna find that shit out. And what he ends up finding is nothing, right? Just nothing but love, right? He only finds love from this woman. And he's just like, well, don't let it happen again. So we cut back to the Avengers. We cut back to the Avengers, and they're all just like, all right, well, we are using our cosmic awareness abilities to figure out what's going on here. That's essentially what Marvel here can do. He's got cosmic awareness, so he's just like, flies out there and gets some kind of a reading somewhere. Herc and Widow head out. Steve Reeves, right? Yeah, Herc and Widow, they head out, and there's a little bit of banter because, Hercules cares about himself, and Nat's trying to make things work, and she's just like, look, can you not, dick off? And Herc is like, look, ain't nobody gonna die on my watch. I'm Hercules, my girl, look, don't worry about it. But, she gets salty about that. So there's some turmoil that might be part of another storyline going on there. I might read that too. I like that. So what ends up happening is Wizard showed he's like, I can't. I'm too old. I'm a janitor now. I can't just be running, speeding all over the place. These bones don't work the same way they did, like, some 20, 30 years ago. And he's just like, if I got you on anything else, but I can't super anymore, essentially. Now I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like it. What ends up happening? No, what the fuck is going off my language, my dialect today? So what ends up happening is Hawkeye, he flings an arrow over Wanda's head. It pops. It drops some flowers on her, right? I thought that was pretty cool. I still don't like the muffin top on it. Why do you have the muffin top on your head? Ugh. But she ends up spilling the beans of, like, what's going on in her head about the whole situation. Her brother and her husband just kind of like, poofing out of nowhere. Thor shows up to the Avengers mansion where Jarvis is making some food for everybody, and Simon's like, "Hey, what's going on, Thor?" And Thor's like, "Who are you?" Right? Excuse me? Who you is? Like, you see on his face, he's just like, he walks in all jovial and whatnot. He's like, "Hey, howdy do? What's going on?" Uh-huh. And I thought this was pretty cool. It's just like, you get a little bit of context later on in the run of like what's going on with like Thor not recognizing who Simon is, but Simon tries for like some time to try to explain to Thor, is like, "Hey man, like we just had a conversation not too long ago. Like, I don't know what's going on, buddy, but don't act like you don't know me," kind of thing. Acting brand new, and I don't like it. So what ends up happening is T'Challa and Yellow Jacket, T'Challa and Hank just kind of like piece the fuck up out of there too. Janet is shook. She's about to double over. It's like my husband, he got snatched, and Tony's like, hey, none of that shit, right? The rest of the Avengers show up. I guess the what would be considered the rest of the Avengers at this point. Hawkeye and Thor show up. Hawkeye, Thor, and Simon, I believe. They all show up and they're just like, "Yo, what's going on?" Tony's like, "All right, well, let me reach out to Vance to see what's going on." Vance is like, "Okay, well, I got a reading about something going on over here." And he's just like, "All right, well, you think you can drop us off there?" Like, Tony's like, "You think you can drop us off there?" And Vance is like, "Yeah, nah, I got you. I'll see what I can do," essentially. So what ends up happening is we cut to Dr. Claw again, Dr. Claw number 4, and you see all of the characters that got apprehended. So you see Yellow Jacket back there. I'm not entirely sure who that. I think that's Two Gun to the left of Yellow Jacket. But you see Widow, you see Hercules, T'Challa, Marvel, who got snatched up while he was out and about. But what ends up happening is everyone gets teleported to this location. You see, okay, well, there's Iron Man, there's Thor, there's Hawkeye, there's Wasp. And lo and behold, it is the Collector. What would be the word? One of the most annoying people, I guess you could say. I'm just not a fan of the Collector because, well, they explain what his motives are in this run. But I'm just not a fan of his approach to it all. He does it so like haphazardly. Nonetheless. Now, normally I would have like, a moment after the video where I just kind of like ramble on or whatnot. I don't really have much to say or much to add to this episode aside from my fucking boy Hawkeye. Look at him. Jeez, this dude is so fucking cool. Why do people not like Hawkeye? What did Hawkeye do to you guys aside from fling some fucking arrows and never miss? Why y'all hating on my boy? Yeah, he can't throw a fucking vibranium adamantium shield. That's fine. He can't pop claws or whatever. He can't shoot laser beams out his fucking eyes. He ain't got super strength or super speed and no other shit like that. He can hit targets from the. I'm forgetting what run it is. Matter of fact, I'll go. To some current comics where an old man Hawkeye, where he's just like he's hitting targets. for the first time, he actually has some level of like, a lack of confidence, rather, well, I should say. He has a lack of confidence in his ability to hit targets because he's going blind. And even when he goes completely blind, he still hits targets. He's just like, hey, slightly this way. Or it's like, what's her name? Kate Bishop is like, hey, this way, like shoot this way, this direction, so on and so forth. And he's just nailing targets, no fucking problem. By the way, Old Man Hawkeye is a really good story. I recommend it. What I have to say about these two issues is not much. They just seem kind of like, they don't really seem that much throwaway. Just more to the extent of introducing other characters that will be a part of the Korvac, the final fight, because there's always a final fight. But they bring in Hawkeye, they showcase him a bit more, and I really enjoy that. You see this again. I have to keep reiterating, the stakes are always high. You're always invested in the story. Not the way I'm telling the story. That's fine. If you want to read it yourself, go read it yourself. But I recommend you stay tuned because, my content's pretty good. So what, basically the point I'm trying to make is, the stakes are always high. You're always invested because, like, you see, even right here with the whole situation with Tyrak. Tyrak showed up, and it's just like, we don't have, like, had Jarvis not been out and about, those ships would have been destroyed because the Avengers wouldn't have known about it. Or even still, even after they defeated him, it's just like, how do we, keep this guy from dying? Like, we don't have a way to get our specialized transportation vehicles and shit like that over to where we are. So what are we going to do? Fuck, we got to let him go. So they throw him back in the ocean. It's like, it's good storytelling. It keeps you invested because it's like, there's highs and lows and you're just like, all right, well, what's going to happen next? That's what I'm going to keep saying this. That's what, fans of the comics, fans of the lore, that's what we enjoy so much in even spanning past, comic books themselves. Like with novels and stuff, like with actual, like, full fleshed out, like, what do you call those? Like, I guess reading books, the pictureless books. Y'all know what I'm talking about, like Tolkien runs and Martin's run, like George R. R. Martin and stuff like that. Like going into like not even counting the movies at this point, but like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and all of the other stuff like that. Like, there's highs and lows. There's always a consequence. There's always what would be the word I'm looking for? Something's always up. Something can always go wrong. Now, you hope that nothing does go wrong, and more times than often it does. And that's what keeps you invested. You're just like, oh man, that's crazy. This happened. Well, how are they going to get out of it? And they end up getting out of it somehow. And they figure it's good storytelling. That's all we want. Current Marvel, current DC, well, a lot of current media nowadays, they're more to, well, here's a problem, and it's going to be wrapped up relatively quickly because, main characters are awesome. No, it's not about, oh, well, they're awesome. Yeah, they're awesome. But the villains and their adversaries that they go up against are also awesome. Like, matter of fact, I think I'm gonna my next cover to cover, I want to do the I want to dive into Sonic the Hedgehog because, like, there's, like, I want to show you guys like my favorite my hands down favorite, like, one-off story as far as comic books go. And it's been my favorite since I was a kid, since I was like 6 years old, 6 years old, somewhere around there. Anyway, I'm rambling and you guys got better things to do. So let me go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know in the comment section below. Hit like, comment, subscribe, the whole Susan Witwicky checklist. And until next time, you guys stay safe. It's real in these streets, and take it easy.